Welcome back. It's the Bordas and Bordas hotline of the Ireland Contracting Nightly Sports Call. Bob Pompeani, Paul Zeise. And a reminder to you, check out the Steelers and the Carolina Panthers on Thursday night. A lot of positioned players, might be on the bubble. Who knows? We've seen a couple of people over the years win jobs on the final game. There's a guy right now punting, Jordan Berry, who's been the incumbent, but there's another guy, Matt Weil, who potentially could make a move there. We'll see. Ryan Switzer comes to town now, and everybody at Pitt knows him. You remember 2016 down there in North Carolina where Pitt had to lead the entire game and then lost it, I think, on the final play. Bug Howard, or Howard Bug, or Bug something. But it wasn't him. It was Ryan Switzer, who had 17 receptions in that game, Paul Zeise. It was unbelievable what he did.
You know, it's funny. That story that you just told, basically, it's the same thing that's happened all of the time when Pitt has played North Carolina.
It does.
It seems like they've had the game won. They should have done this. They should have done that. And there's either one guy that kills them or they just blow it some. Like last year when they fumbled, Quadri Henderson. Ironically enough, the guy that Switzer probably is going to take his spot is Quadri Henderson. Last year, when they played North Carolina, if you remember, basically they're going in to win the game, and he fumbles on like the 1 yard line because he's trying to stretch out and make a hero play, right? So, and they end up losing that game. I mean, they've never beaten North Carolina since they joined the ACC.
This will be the first year, in my opinion.
They should have beat them last year.
I know that.
They had them at
always
home.
a time for a first one.
They were playing better football. North Carolina was bad. They were here. It was a primetime game. You felt, okay, this is the year they get them, and they didn't get them.
They did not. Let's go to the lines. Bob in Clearfield. What's up, Bob? How are you?
Hi, gentlemen. Thanks for taking my call. If he has to provide any type of a decent return, given the huge investment that they're required to get him, Chris Archer, who will turn 30 next month, needs to learn how to pitch like 22-year-old Jack Flaherty. Little bit of this, little bit of that, innings eater, who more often than not, sometime during the course of the game, will give your team a chance to win. The 4-inning bullpen killer that he is right now is simply not going to make it. Now, next month, the Pirates are playing these real powerhouse teams like the Reds, Marlins, Royals, who all be bringing out people up out of the minor leagues, and it was talking with the September calls. Now, hopefully, it might give him a chance to get out there to learn how to transition to a National League game. As Sky said earlier, the Cardinals bring up the right type of people who are trained for the National League game, and they don't leave them down in the minor leagues too long, and they just keep bringing people again and again.
They do that.
You have to admire that organization. They are tremendous when it comes to finding talent and developing it.
Yes, they are. Thanks for the call. As far as, the Pirates lead the league in starters who can't get to the fifth inning, it seems like. Again, tonight it was Ivan Nova, 70 pitches in the third inning, taken out of the game in the top of the fourth. Paul, this kind of stuff, I don't care what Nova is as far as a veteran. I mean, he is as erratic as they come. And when he's off, he's off. He serves up soft serve, and they hit it hard. And they had 2 home runs tonight.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's the big thing with him. The other part of it is, don't they still owe him one more year? I mean, he's a guy, to me, I thought that they should have tried. Once it became clear they were done, maybe a week ago, they should have tried to get him through waivers and see if someone will take him.
All right, well, we'll find out. Pirates had something going on top of the 8th, but Hudson came in. The 23-year-old after a 22 and a 21-year-old, and it's 4-2 now to the bottom of the 8th inning. Let's go to line 2. That would be Harry in Westview. Hey, Harry, how you doing?
Very good. Hey, you know what? This Pirates organization, it reminds me of my aunt in Mount Lebanon. She had plastic on her couch, and you weren't allowed to sit on any of her furniture. They make one move, and it's like somebody brought in a new couch. And you can't win with making one move.
No, they need to develop everybody better. And like I said, the Cardinals have finished ahead of them all 11 years that Neil Huntington's been here. To me, that says something about how the organizations run themselves. And keep in mind, this is the same organization that decided they couldn't afford to sign Albert Pujols, who is failing, not him personally, but that team in Anaheim. I don't know how any of their front office keeps their jobs with all this talent and money they put into them. They get to one playoff game since Mike Trout has been there, one series, and they haven't won a game. They got swept. But Pujols says goodbye. They win a world championship, Paul. They always have people in their system.
Yeah, and I think the other part of it, like you said, what people a lot of people don't really know, the Cardinals aren't like one of these free-spending, freewheeling, go out and sign everybody type teams.
No.
I mean, they have a bigger budget than the Pirates do, but it's not that much bigger. I mean, they don't go out and go crazy. on free agents. They do a lot of the stuff the Pirates do in terms of years of control guys and that kind of stuff. But the thing is, when it comes down to they need a player, they are not afraid to make a trade. They're not afraid to go out and get somebody that they need to get. They don't make a practice of overpaying people and all that stuff like some of the other teams, but they still make bold moves.
And they did that with Marcell Ozuna, who's not been good this year. And here they are resurrecting their season without him really helping. He got injured. He's not been anywhere near what he was. But next year, I would suspect he's going to be back to what we saw last year in Miami. And that means bad news for the Pirates again. Fern on line 5. Hey, Fern, how you doing?
Hi.
Hi.
I'm calling about the Pirates.
Okay.
Okay? I agree with bringing up the young players and bringing them into play, but you have to have somebody to train them, and Hurdle is not the man to do that.
All right, well, it goes beyond Hurdle, though. It's all the way through their system. It seems like even guys who do come up here, I don't know if they're ready to play when they get here. And I don't see many 21 and 22-year-olds right now in the last several years coming up. Thanks for the call, Fern. Paul, what 21, 22, 23-year-old kid have you seen come in here and play regularly? Have there been any? Normally when they come up, they're 25, 6, or 7.
Right, they're a little older, and you know, it's one of those things where they haven't done a good job of being bold with the way they develop. Now, do you agree with me? They just called it a home run.
Yeah,
do you agree with me, Bob, that
Jed Jorko, two-run home
another
run.
guy.
That's 3 2-run home runs tonight.
Seriously, if the Pirates had to play Jorko, Colton Wong, and Billy Hamilton every night, they'd go 0-162. But do you agree with me? The one thing that is really kind of ridiculous when it comes to the Pirates this offseason, okay? They won't. You watch. They will make no moves.
I disagree.
You think they'll
I think
fire
they're going
some
to.
coaches?
That way. I thought you
I'm
meant.
talking about you're going to. I think to me.
Yeah, coach. I would.
Some coaches, some front office people. I mean, they've got to change something, don't they?
I think they're going to change their spending habits because they're being forced to by the fan base.
But again, if they don't,
you know what?
If they don't, then that Chris Archer deal was a waste.
It is.
It was, and they've got to do that. But it can't just be that.
Yeah.
It can't. It's got to be. They've got to clean some house in the front office. They've probably got to get rid of some of their coaching staff and whatnot. Some of their minor league guys.
Bobby O on Twitter says to both of us, the Pirates would rather control and overcoach an underdeveloped 27-year-old rather than let them learn and thrive in the major league level. Let me sneak in one more call here, Steve, before we go to break, okay? And that would be line 5, Bill in Rocky Grove. What's up, Bill?
Yeah, I'd like to comment about Marte.
About
after the 50-game suspension last year, that he came out and said that he would be playing much better and that the fans would be completely forget about what he did. To me, he has not held up to that agreement.
Not consistently, no. He had one good month, and that was it pretty much. Everything else has been erratic. And quite frankly, he doesn't need to attack fans like he did last week. He didn't attack them, but he basically said, hey, it's your job to motivate me if you want to see better results. Sorry, my friend, it's the other way around. We're due for a break. We'll take it. Come back with more right here on Pittsburgh CW.